Good evening, Scotch Plains, and welcome to our January 27th, 2026 Scotch Plains Town Council Business Meeting, the last council meeting for Chief Briel. I wish to make the following announcement to show compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, known as Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of New Jersey, 1975. Notice of this meeting was given by publishing a notice of the location, time, and date, sending copies to the Star Ledger and the Leader, posting said notice on the township website and bulletin board in the municipal building, and filing same with our township clerk. Today we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by the Scotch Plains Fanwood Soccer Club EP3 2012 Boys Blue. Ladies and gentlemen, if you please rise. And when you're ready, please start us with the pledge. Start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to have to give Dr. Master a call after the meeting.
Yeah, I want to know which one. Who said I don't know the pledge?
Thank you, boys, for leading us in the pledge, and thank you, everyone, for being here. We have a few presentations and proclamations, and have the terrific fortune of delivering the oath of office to a few officers. We'd like to start, and then finally, a presentation by professional property appraisers about the town's revaluation plan that is going to take all of 2026. We're going to start by honoring this soccer club, since they're still standing on the side. And I'm going to call upon my colleague, Deputy Mayor Matt Adams, to share some good news about their season and honor these young men.
Well, it's good to see these young men back, because they are frequent flyers when it comes to recognition, because they've once again been highly successful and awarded the 2025 New Jersey Youth Soccer President's Cup U14B Championship title. Let's give it up. Just some quick highlights. They started their President's Cup run in the round of 16 after earning a bye in the first round, and they played against the Montclair United boys team, defeating them by a wide margin of 7-2. They went on to the round of 8 and beat NJ Stallions Academy 4-0, and then squeaked a close one against Soccer Academy of New Jersey Ravens with a 1-0 victory, advancing them to the final. When they made it to the final, that was their third consecutive year. I knew you guys looked familiar, although you're growing. That was their third consecutive year making it to the President's Cup Championship, and they ultimately defeated Washington United 2-0. They are now moving on to compete in the Northeast Region President's Cup in June 2025 as the representative from New Jersey. And it goes without saying, on behalf of a really grateful community, thank you for representing us so well out there. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Township Council of the Township of Scotch Plains hereby extends big congratulations to this Scotch Plains Fanwood Soccer Club EP3 2012 Boys Blue Team and its coaching staff on their outstanding team effort and on the incredible season, which has brought extremely positive recognition to this team and to the Township of Scotch Plains. So thank you so much, boys. Come on up here and get a copy of this official resolution, naming each of you as a critical part of this team.
And then maybe stay right here. We can help share the story by taking a big picture with everyone.
Congratulations, guys.
Watch the.
Yeah.
Come on over this way. Turn.
Coach, want to
Stand
say a
here.
few words about the season, or call out
Come on
anyone?
in, guys. We're going to take a picture.
We're going to take a picture.
We accept you to follow up with us after June.
Who didn't know the pledge? Was that you?
Who didn't know that? Who was that? I want you to do
have to work on
a solo version of the Pledge of Allegiance.
He was just kidding.
Just Let's try to make all your faces be seen. If you take a look at the gentleman in the middle, at John, he's going
Mr.
to,
Mooney, he's got you.
nice big smile. Can you see all the faces? This, right here? Good. Big smiles. You good, John? And parents good? Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Good luck, guys.
Coach?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks for being a frequent flyer. Good job.
Thank you to the team and to the families for letting us recognize all of your achievements, and we hope you keep playing and doing so successfully and come back again next season.
And we're
Okay?
not offended if you leave.
Thank you.
Great job.
Good job, guys.
No, we are not offended if the soccer families leave.
Yeah, we always
Not at
are.
all.
I like the uniforms. We'll just give everyone a minute.
Good job, Coach.
Thank you for braving the cold. Tonight, we're also swearing in swearing in three officers. Chief Brielle, the microphone is yours. Oh, I'm sorry, but before I do that, I forgot to do this again. May I have the roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Adams?
Here.
Ms. Stamler?
Here.
Mr. White?
Here.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Here.
Mayor Lusardo?
Here, thank you, Ms. Lucina. We'll do it right after. Thank you, Chief, yeah.
Thanks for having us. One of the kids walked by me and he said, "Wait, that's it?" So I don't know if you guys could step up a proclamation next year for them or something. I don't think it was enough.
They've done it a lot of times.
Yeah, at their third time, it's a little half. So thanks for having us here tonight,
Thank you.
Mayor, Council, Margaret, Bonnie. Thank you very much. Tonight, it's a good night. Introducing one of our newest officers, graduated the academy in December. I know him for a long time. He played PAL football. I coached him in football. I hadn't seen him in a long time. As soon as I walked into the interview room, I remember that face, but you had a face mask the last time I seen it. Ryan Dayton, want to step up here? Ryan was born and raised in Scotch Plains. He graduated from the Scotch Plains Fanwood High School in 2020. While in high school, he played hockey and football. After that, he attended the University of Hartford in Connecticut, where he decided to pursue a BA in criminal justice. Ryan has always had an interest in police work, stemming from his grandfather, who is a policeman in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. He's a recent graduate of the John H. Stanton Police Academy in December, and is currently serving in the patrol division, where he's assigned to a field training officer till probably March or April. I believe he also interned somewhere when you were in Connecticut also?
Yeah, with the Avon Police Department.
With the Avon Police Department. So he knew what he wanted to do. He went after it, educated himself, interned, and followed in the steps of his grandfather. He's going to do very well here. He has his entire career ahead of him, and I've gotten nothing but positive feedback so far since he's here. So congratulations and welcome aboard.
Excellent. Thank you.
To do it.
Totally graduated.
I can't even believe it.
One side.
I knew I recognized you.
Wherever you like. Just watch your head by the
Mr. Kelly.
You want to come along? And, all right. If you please put your left hand on the Bible, the right hand up, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ryan Dayton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
police officer for the Township of Scotch Plains Police Department.
police officer for the Township of Scotch Plains Police Department, according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Welcome. Maybe take one more with John, we'll share with the community. May I jump in one? Yes, you may. All right, thank you. Yeah. You signed it?
Yes, these are all certified.
All right, next up, promoting a sergeant and lieutenant, two guys that went to actually the police academy, they're classmates together. First up, Sergeant Damian Serafin. Damian Serafin was born and raised in Poland and immigrated to the United States in 2011. He pursued higher education at Kane University, where he graduated before beginning his career in law enforcement. In 2016, Damian joined the Scotch Plains Police Department and served in the Patrol Division from 2016 to 2023. He was then assigned to the Detective Bureau, where he served until 2026. On January 12th, he was officially promoted to the rank of sergeant. Damian is excited to take on his new leadership role and remains committed to serving the community with dedication and professionalism. Damian came to us. He was a great hire. I sat in on that board when his three guys, we hired him. He was a very good, excellent patrolman. We moved him into the Detective Bureau in 2023. We've been short in the Detective Bureau for manpower constraints, and he has really been a jack of all trades up there, handling general investigations and really anything else we needed of him. He's an excellent officer. We saw an opportunity to get him promoted, had to do some shuffling there, and we were able to pull it off. He's an excellent addition to our first line supervision, and he's going to do very, very well for this police department. Congratulations.
I should have asked you to lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Nice.
If you got it, thanks for joining your dad. You know the drill. Right
sir.
hand up. Please, state your name.
I, Damian Serafin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
in the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
Sergeant for the Township of Scotch Plains Police Department.
Sergeant for the Township of Scotch Plains Police Department, according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. I think.
Is it wrong angle?
And one more? Sorry, Chief.
It's not too late. I'll pull my papers back.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next up, Ted Florio, to the rank of lieutenant. Ted Florio grew up in Malvern, New York, and attended Chaminade High School, where he's a Catholic League All-Star and All-League member of the football team. Florio continued his education at St. Anselm College, where he majored in criminal justice and was a 4-year letter winner in Division II football. After earning his bachelor's degree from St. Anselm, Ted enlisted in the United States Army and graduated as an honor graduate from basic training. He was a cannoneer at Fort Hood and was honorably discharged in 2006. After spending time coaching collegiate football, Florio was hired by the Scotch Plains Police Department in 2016. He was assigned to the Detective Bureau in 2019 until he was promoted to the patrol sergeant in 2021. Florio was a proud member of the Union County Emergency Response Team from 2018 through 2023. During his time with the police department, Ted has received letters of commendation and appreciation. He is also CIT and FTO certified. Florio is also in active community policing and instructed crime scene investigations at the Junior Police Academy during his time in the Detective Bureau. Ted resides in Scotch Plains with his wife Heather and his 3 children, Cassia, Dominic, and Giovanni. So, again, another great hire for this police department back then. Those 3 that came out of the academy were all great. You had a sergeant, a lieutenant, and a detective bureau out of the 3 of them, and a detective out of the 3 of them. He was a good officer in patrol. He was a field training officer. He was an excellent detective for his time up there. That was a loss when it was, just like Damien, in investigations, right? We try to put our guys up there that can work unsupervised, don't need to be told what to do, just do the job. And ultimately, they wound up getting promoted because that's, they're driven. And it was a loss in the Detective Bureau. But we gained an excellent first-line supervisor, and with this promotion, he's going to be one of only 2 lieutenants in the entire patrol division, and he has a platoon of guys that he can shed his knowledge and his leadership on, and I congratulate him.
I always want to be transparent. I received a letter from this young man a few weeks ago where he said I was really doing a great job, but the promotion, we figured that out before the letter. There's nothing to do with that. Good to see you again, Giovanni. And nice to see everybody. Okay. Please, if you're using the Bible, will you hold this for me there? Please put your left hand on the Bible and your right hand up and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Theodore Florio,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
Lieutenant for the Township of Scotch Plains Police Department.
Lieutenant for the Township of Scotch Plains Police Department, according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
We're getting good at this with the pictures.
Yes.
Is the mic in the way?
Oh, gee, that's cute.
Good catch.
That's super cute.
Go for it. And drop. John, thank you.
Yeah.
Before? Okay. If I could ask the officers and chief, if you, could you give us a few minutes before you leave? We want to just jump to one presentation and then come right back. Maybe 5 minutes.
Sure.
All right, thank you. So we're going to jump for a second. I made a mistake before. Tonight, we are sharing a proclamation related to the New Jersey Coalition Against Human Trafficking. I met Terry DeFrancesco about a year ago, I think in Garwood, I think it was. And Terry shared with me her efforts on this cause of protecting people against being trafficked and the importance of raising this issue so more people are aware of it, especially with the soccer, it's called the World Cup. The World Cup coming up this June and July, bringing in tens of thousands of people to New Jersey. And so Terry brought it to my attention. I worked with Chief Briel and shared with him this issue so that the officers are aware. And earlier this week, Suzanne Quayle, I think it was Suzanne Quayle, reached out to us about this proclamation and using this opportunity to raise awareness. So I'm going to call my colleague, Councilwoman Ellen Zimmerman. Excuse me? No, I'm not. I'm going to call my colleague, Councilwoman Elizabeth Stamler, to share information related to what I'm speaking about, and then invite Susanna and Terry up. And Terry, if you'll say a few words about your efforts, it'll help tell the story. Thank you.
We'll get you back together.
Thank you.
Whereas human trafficking is among the world's fastest growing criminal enterprises, and it profits from the exploitation of vulnerable populations, including minors and adults. And whereas nearly 26 years after the passing of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, an estimated 27.6 million people are subjected to human trafficking globally, with cases reported in every U.S. state and territory. And whereas human trafficking is a borderless crime against individuals that violates the most basic human rights and deprives victims of every shred of personal freedom. Whereas human trafficking occurs when a person is recruited, harbored, or obtained through force, fraud, or coercion for the purposes of sexual or labor exploitation. And whereas victims can be U.S. citizens or non-citizens and can be any age or gender, but they have a shared experience of having been forced, tricked, manipulated, or threatened into compliance with the criminals seeking to exploit them. And whereas broad public awareness of human trafficking that is informed by the lived experience of survivors brave enough to share their knowledge is best practice when seeking to understand and prevent trafficking. And whereas large sporting events like the World Cup are known to increase the demand for sex trafficking victims, and the World Cup in particular has also been associated with labor trafficking cases, including construction, hospitality, retail industries. It is especially important to educate our communities and raise awareness before, during, and after this event. And whereas New Jersey's MetLife Stadium will host 8 matches of the 2026 FIFA World Cup from June 2026 over 5 weeks, including the final in July, with Fan Fest in Liberty State Park along the Jersey Shore and other locations. And whereas the signing into law of New Jersey's 2013 Prevention, Protection, and Treatment Act officially declared January as Human Trafficking Prevention Month in this state, and specifically declared January 11th as Human Trafficking Awareness Day. And whereas the Township of Scotch Plains stands committed to protecting human rights and individual freedom by raising awareness of human trafficking. And whereas the Township of Scotch Plains is resolved to support the goals and ideals of observing a month of human trafficking prevention during January of each year, and to support all efforts by individuals, businesses, organizations, and governing bodies to raise awareness of and opposition to human trafficking. And whereas the Township of Scotch Plains is resolved to make additional efforts to keep its residents aware of the warning signs, survivor-informed prevention messaging, and how to respond in the case of suspected trafficking before, during, and after the World Cup. And whereas the Township of Scotch Plains is committed to ensuring that those impacted by human trafficking receive services that are trauma-informed and responsive to their individual needs. And whereas the Township commends the work of the NJ Coalition Against Human Trafficking for its survivor-inclusive efforts to end human trafficking in our state and beyond through education, advocacy, and assistance to survivors, and to increase coordination and visibility of New Jersey's commitment to end human trafficking. Now, therefore, the Township Council of the Township of Scotch Plains hereby proclaims January of each year as Human Trafficking Prevention Month in the Township to raise awareness about the signs and consequences of human trafficking, to promote opposition to human trafficking in all of its forms, and to encourage support for the survivors of human trafficking throughout New Jersey and across the world to put an end to this criminal activity and restore freedom and dignity to its survivors.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Susanna, Terry, would you please come up? And want to present it to them? My colleague will present the proclamation, and I think Susanna declined, so the microphone is yours.
Listen, I've been on the Jumbotron talking about this.
Excellent.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike is yours.
I want to thank Scotch Plains and the mayor and the council for supporting human trafficking and to make people in the town of Scotch Plains aware of it. I had the opportunity to speak at some conferences about this. I've been working on human trafficking since 2003 with a break to be president of the Junior League. But it's there, it's scary. They had a bust in Plainfield on human trafficking, and there was also one in Springfield. So it's close. Don't think that it's not in our neighborhood, because it is. We're a portal state. They come in through the Port of Elizabeth, Newark, Bayonne, and they managed to get through here. So just, I'm going to talk to the Board of Education about doing a brief class to teach the teachers to teach the students about it. So that's something that I want to add to the education department, which is probably want to hit me over the head with it, but we have to make these kids aware of their surroundings and also the parents and see what's going on. So I want to thank you again for giving us the proclamation and making January Human Trafficking Month in Scotch Plains.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both. I was in Manhattan a few weeks ago, and in the men's room was a poster about warning, and I'm thinking we could do the same here if it's as close to home as you say, in our restaurants and bars as well.
On the inside of the doors.
Right.
That's there.
So exactly. So it's a safe place to see. We'll do that. We'll continue talking. Thank you for your efforts very much, Chief, and everyone. Thank you for letting me jump around. Chief Briel joined the department a few weeks before today, and has led this department exemplary. And despite our efforts trying to hold on to him, the chief made clear several months back that he was planning to retire, and his retirement date is on Friday, I believe. And my colleagues and I wanted to honor Chief Briel for his tremendous service to the Township of Scotch Plains. And I'm going to get this one right. And now my colleague,
That is
Councilwoman Zimmerman, is going to share with you a little bit about the Chief's career and why we wanted to take a few minutes and make sure that he was recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I wanted to also congratulate our new officer, sergeant, and lieutenant. So, because when we have a retirement and losing retiring our chief, it's nice to see we're adding some new and into the department. And I don't know what it says about me when we have an officer who I've known since he was a kid. So nothing makes me more excited to see this and see this full circle in our community. So congratulations to all three of you. Congratulations, Ryan. I could ramble on, but I think I read through the proclamation. I think it is all well said there. So I think the best way to communicate is to read it. So, whereas Chief Jeff Briel has honorably and faithfully served the residents of the Township of Scotch Plains for more than 3 decades in law enforcement. And whereas Chief Briel was born and raised in Scotch Plains, graduating from Scotch Plains Fanwood High School, and beginning his lifelong commitment to public safety through service with the Scotch Plains Rescue Squad, and later as a corrections officer with the Union County Department of Corrections, prior to joining the Scotch Plains Police Department in 1995. And whereas throughout his distinguished career with the Scotch Plains Police Department, Chief Briel served in a variety of roles, including training officer, narcotics directive, patrol assignments, and administrative leadership, earning promotions through the ranks and demonstrating exemplary professionalism and dedication to duty. And whereas in 2023, Chief Briel was appointed Chief of Police following the retirement of his predecessor, bringing extensive experience, deep community roots, and a steadfast commitment to community-oriented policing to the leadership of the department. And whereas under Chief Briel's leadership, the Scotch Plains Police Department continued to uphold the highest standards of policing, maintain critical departmental accreditation, and advanced initiatives focused on public safety, trust, and community engagement. And whereas Chief Briel's service also extended beyond the township, as evidenced by his role in professional law enforcement associations, including the Union County Police Chiefs Association, and collaboration with regional partners to enhance crime prevention and public safety. And whereas, after decades of dedicated service to the Township of Scotch Plains, Chief Jeff Briel will retire from the Scotch Plains Police Department January 31st, 2026, marking the conclusion of an exemplary career in law enforcement. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Township Council of the Township of Scotch Plains hereby express their sincere gratitude and appreciation to Chief Jeff Briel for his extraordinary service, leadership, and commitment to the safety, welfare, and security of the residents of Scotch Plains. And be it further proclaimed that the Township acknowledged Chief Briel's steadfast devotion to public service, his deep connection to the community, and the enduring legacy he leaves within the police department. And be it further proclaimed that the Township wishes Chief Briel continued success, health, and fulfillment in his well-earned retirement.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Those of you who know me, I read from a piece of paper. If I have to read somebody's bio, other than that, I just kind of let it go. So I didn't prepare anything as usual. I'll start off with just thanking all of you, Mayor, the council. You guys have been my the same town leadership since I got here. You're the support that you guys have shown my police department, all right? I joked with Margaret today. Al Mirabella, my previous town manager, Margaret took over in June for her. I was joking with Margaret today when I said, and I'll preface it with this, I don't buy anything that we don't need. I'm not into a bunch of nonsense cop stuff that somebody's gonna look at. We buy what we need, and they as the relationship grew, they knew if I asked for it, I needed it. And I told Margaret today, you guys, you literally never told me no. about anything that I came to the township with, and I said, hey, look, we're having an issue with this. This is what we're looking to do. I need to, save $11,000 here, but I'm going to spend 18. What are you doing? Do it. And that's how my 3 years as a chief have gone, right? The level of support from leadership, now Margaret, right, and you guys. It didn't go, they don't see it, right? I mean, I can say it, right? We know we get new cars, hey, we got new guns, hey, whatever. But it's the behind the scenes stuff that they don't see. They only, right, they feel it when they're getting it. But that level of trust and relationship that we had over those 3 years, it's par none. I know, I'm not mentioning any names, but I know other chiefs and other councils and other towns and other mayors and everything else, and we never had any of it here, ever. And I'm very appreciative of that, right? When I came in, the last chief of police got hired, was promoted to chief with 18 years on the job. The previous one was promoted with 18 years on the job. I got promoted with 30 years on the job. I was I'm just different anyway, but promoting somebody with 30 years on the job it can be challenging because I've been here a lot longer than any of you. If I say it, I know it, right? And I don't want to hear anything coming back at me. The way that Al Mirabella and Margaret and the town council dealt with someone like me coming in, right, and allowed me to grow in that position, and it was, like I said, you talk without the county, the state chiefs. I'll talk to chiefs down in Monmouth County. It was. I don't want to say it was unheard of, but it was a blessing, and the relationship that we've had is just. I'll be forever grateful with that. So I appreciate that. My command staff that we've had, right? I'm the last man standing out of anybody that I got hired with. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I lasted everyone. I've gone through a deputy chief who's in the room. I've gone through numerous captains, right? I've promoted captains. Probably everybody in this room, I might have hired you or promoted you, right? That's how long I've been here. We have an outstanding frontline leadership right now. I got two great watch commanders. Dave Lavery is taking over for me as chief of police in a couple of days at this point. I learned something, and he's in the room, and I mentioned it today in our directors meeting. I learned something about Captain Ritchie, right? I knew he was a good police officer. He was a pretty good sergeant. He was a good lieutenant, but he surprised me as a captain. His administrative mindset to things, and he picks up on things that myself and Leslie, town labor, we missed, and he picked right up on it, right? In that office since May, he dove into policies, he dove into procedures. He sits on the collective bargaining unit for the PBA. So when he's looking at policies and procedures, he right away will see if there's an issue or a conflict with the new contract. And to have somebody like that in Lavery as a new chief is right. We're set. This town is in very, very good qualified hands, right? I've been off the road a long time. There's a lot of officers in this road that worked with me. They know that I did it as a police officer and as a supervisor when I was down in patrol. Right, but then you get promoted again to captain, and now you're upstairs and nobody sees you, and you get promoted to chief, and you're in your laird up there, and what's this guy doing, right? But my point of that is the patrol division has always been where my heart was at. It was it's just the job, it's where it's at, right? And they are the unsung heroes of any police department, right? The guy at 3 o'clock in the morning that's out there on the side of a highway. And the ones in uniform, they deserve a debt of gratitude from this township because they are the ones that are doing it on a day-and-day basis, right? And we just take the credit for it, right? I hope I'm not slighting anybody or forgetting anybody, but at least come on up here. Let's go. So you've said it. So I know that I've said it before at council meetings, right? Natural disasters, we were joking about it today. Lestarchik is here somewhere. He was joking that it seems like I worked every natural disaster in the last 31 years, whether it was Sandy, Floyd, the snowstorm that canceled Halloween, right? I mean, if you name it, I was there. And the only way that police officers can go to work and do the job the way it's supposed to be done is if we know that everything is good at home, right? So, and I always had that, right? If I had generators set up outside, whatever it was, she was at home, go, we're good, right? I'm lucky enough, I didn't talk to her my entire life, but I married, evidently I went to kindergarten with her, right? I graduated high school with her, and we lived on the same street. So I was on the 500 block, she's on the 3, and that's who I married, right? So I've been very lucky in that sense. My in-laws, I couldn't have married into a better family. My mom, my aunt and uncle, my entire family, it's very, very supportive, right? And I'm grateful for that. But again, you know, I would not have been able to do the things that I did for this community if I didn't have her at home, locked down, Italian, wooden spoon, right? Statute of limitations or something like that. The whole wooden spoon thing. And I have 3 boys at home. They're learning their way through life, but they're good human beings, right? And a lot of time with her, and it showed. So, there's a lot of people, and I've talked to some people individually, and I have over the next couple of days, I'll be continuing that. But, my civilian staff, Renee Stevens, every day with her, Lisa and Andrea down in Records, right? And there is people in this police department that really, really mean a lot to me, and they know who they are. But a couple days left, no curveballs thrown at me or whatever. So yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
And you can talk about like the different people that you talk to, right? We have a great council. Councilman Adams is the liaison to the police department, right? Anything that was going on, Chef, what are you looking for? You know what I mean? To explain this to me so that I can explain it. They've been very, very supportive, in that way. And again, I could bounce around this building to zoning, to the tax office, to the people, over these years that have gone through violations and all of it. You know what I mean? We did the right thing. And not always easy. Hard decisions need to be made in the last 3 years. You know what I mean? And we did it. And again, I couldn't think of a better group of people to do this with and end it with than you guys and all of them. But thank you. I appreciate you.
How's the pool project?
It's not.
It's the ice skating rink right now, right?
Thank you. Someday we'll get that fixed.
Microphones in everything. Not in the TV, but at least the township logos on the back.
I hit my head on that more time.
I just want to correct the record while the officers are here on one thing. We didn't say yes to everything. But we want you and the officers to always be safe, and we want the residents of Scotch Plains to be safe, and whenever, and you always ask for something that makes sense, and that's what we're doing. It's a partnership working together. Come on. Count support. Okay. Thank you, officers. I think you're off to Darby to celebrate, I think. And in a moment, we'll have that presentation by professional property appraisers.
See you, pal. Congratulations. Be safe.
Officer Dayton, I texted Kelly and sent her picture. She said, congratulations. She said to tell you. Huh? Don't look up.
Don't look up. Yeah. Give us 2 years and it's out.
Okay.
And our final, as they're exiting the room, I'll try to warm us up. The
Usually
final
happens.
presentation is by professional property appraisers. A few weeks ago, all residents and businesses received a letter that looks like this, explaining what the process is about, and we invited a representative from professional property appraisers to the town council meeting to explain in greater detail what the process looks like and to answer questions, if any. A few weeks ago, I thought the room was going to be filled.
Well, when everyone was coming in.
Yeah.
No,
Us too.
there's some coming back in.
Hi, Mike. You may have been outside. I was just explaining what we're doing. Please come on up. So a few weeks ago, you may have received a letter that looks like this, explaining the process. I know I wrote about it in our e-messenger in the spring, and we asked our local press to cover it in the spring and summer. We wanted to educate residents as to what this process looks like and what revaluation is. And we haven't had a chance to meet yet. Hi,
I'm Sean.
So, Sean?
The reval firm's project supervisor.
Great. We're live on local TV and it's broadcast on Facebook.
Okay.
So when if while you're seated, if you would just use the mic, and if you need to stand, just speak closer to that mic.
If you want to, there's a clicker there if you wanted to stand up there, or you can sit there, whatever you want to do.
No, right there. Right next to
Next to your mouse.
right there.
And hi, Mike. How are you? Mike Ross is Scotch Plains tax assessor. Mike has been the tax assessor since since for 31 years, almost as long as Chief Brio.
Longer than the chief. There you go.
And our
Sound
town
right.
manager and our town manager's predecessor and Mike and I have been working on this with the governing body, preparing for this for a few years. Scotch Plains was aware that we were in line to complete the revaluation, and in December, I believe it was, of '24, the Tax Board of Union County issued an order compelling Scotch Plains to complete its revaluation. The last time Scotch Plains completed a revaluation, the first Ghostbusters was in the movies. It was 1984.
I was 2.
My colleague was 2. I was 12. And what I've learned is that in New Jersey, every municipality is required to complete a revaluation. Municipalities are supposed to complete them within every decade, but most haven't. And over the last few years, all the towns that haven't done so for decades have been ordered to get their act together, including Scotch Plains. And so with that, Sean, if you please introduce yourself, share what this is about, what residents should expect next year, and then if there are any questions, if you'd be so kind to answer.
Sure. Yeah, so once again, my name's Sean O'Sullivan. I will be the project supervisor working on the reevaluation. I've been in the appraisal business for about 20 years now. I've been in the reevaluation business for about 15. So we'll go over the presentation here. If you guys have any questions at the end, we'll, take your specific questions and we'll, try to get everything figured out for you here. So what is a reevaluation? A reevaluation is a program that is undertaken by the municipality to appraise all the properties at fair market value. The goal of the reevaluation is to spread the tax burden throughout the municipality. Fair market value is what we're trying to achieve with this process, meaning 100% market value, a willing buyer, willing seller. We're trying to determine what your property will be worth in those circumstances. Why now? So we kind of spoke about it here already, but the reevaluation is basically warranted when the properties in the taxing district are being assessed substantially lower from before, and we have to allow that tax burden to be redistributed again through this process. So the average property in Scotch Plains right now is currently assessed at 17% of market value, meaning that if you look at your assessment, on average, they're about 17% of what the market value should be for your property if it were to sell, which is, fairly low. Typically, the state starts monitoring that number after 85%, so obviously it's well below that number at this point. The last time you mentioned it was that it was completed was 1984. Who will conduct it? We will, as a outside third-party company. Our name is Professional Property Appraisers. Some of the things that we will be, looking at in terms of the, property, and we'll have field representatives going out and collecting the data. If you look on this screen there, that will be our uniform. Typically, it's a blue, polo shirt with some khaki pants. That will be the data collector. He's the one in charge of collecting your information for your property. It will solely just be his job to collect that data. Again, that's typically the uniform. Now in the winter, we'll probably be out within the next few weeks. We will have, jackets that have Professional Property Appraisers on it. We also will have name tags. We will present those name tags at the time that we, approach your property. All of the name tags are also located on our website. You can find that at the time if you want to look that up. You can correlate the two between the ID and the website as well. What occurs during the reevaluation process? Basically, interiors and exteriors of each property are physically inspected. The exterior of the property will be photographed. So if you see somebody taking pictures, it will be on the exterior. We don't do any kind of interior, pictures, anything along those lines. Recent sales will be taken into account to determine the market. We will make positive and negative adjustments based off of what we're comparing you to determine that value. Commercial properties typically will be done based off of an income producing cost basis. Residential properties will again be looked at a sales comparison approach to try to determine that market value. So what is expected of the owners? When we come in for the interior inspections, typically we just ask the homeowner to cooperate with the data collector. We try to make sure that we're gathering all the pertinent information that we need to determine that market value. Just remember at the time that they're there, they are just the data collectors. They're not going to be the ones valuing your property, but they're going to try to take in as much information as they can. If you feel that there's anything that would affect the value at the time of the inspection, please note that to the inspector, and they can take all of that information down, and we can take a look at it at the time that we're valuing the property. All right, so this is what the inspector will be looking for. We'll be looking at overall conditions, number of bathrooms, type of heat, central air. We will be looking at finished areas, if it is finished or unfinished, like attic spaces, basement areas. The exterior inspection is where the measurements are done. We will be also measuring detached items like garages, in-ground pools, any kind of accessory buildings. Some of the things that we will not be looking at are, your interior decorations, fences, window air conditionings, any kind of landscaping. At the time of the inspection, if you are not home, we will leave a notice at the door. At that point, you can call the number on the notice and you can make an appointment that's convenient for you. We do have appointments during the day, during the week, and we also do evening appointments. And we try to accommodate Saturdays as well, depending on how much we, receive in terms of calls and requests for Saturdays. This is probably the number one question that people are mostly concerned about. Will my taxes go up? So although the reevaluation will result in a change of nearly every individual assessed value, which I can guarantee you it will, being that it's at 17% of market value, everybody will see an increase in value. Because again, we are bringing that value up to 100%. Now, that does not mean that your taxes will go up. The tax rate will be adjusted to compensate for the change of the assessed values. Since not all properties have appreciated in the value at the same rate, some taxes will be levied, some will increase, and some will stay neutral, and some will decrease, meaning that typically it's cut into thirds in theory. A portion of the population typically goes up, a portion of the population will typically stay the same, and a portion of the population will see a decrease. So this is after you receive your value, you will receive a notice basically giving you your property value and your estimated tax from what you have received from your value. At that time, you can call us. You can talk to us about, maybe sales or anything along those lines that you may have to, dispute the assessment. And typically we ask for, sales within your location, sales that would justify a change within that assessment at the time that you receive your valuation letter. Again, we'll be looking at all of that. You can set up a meeting at that time, again, if you're unhappy with that value that you have received. This is our contact information. I don't know if you can see it, but that's our contact information. This would be the number to call if you have any questions, either at the time that somebody's coming out to your property or, again, at the time that you receive the letter of valuation. And that's also our website. And that's pretty much it. I'll open it to questions if anybody has any specific questions.
If you have any questions, just because of the recording, if you'd come up to the mic, or Sean, if you'd repeat the question, if that's easier,
Sure,
just so that they hear it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if you have the answer to this. Where would I see where I'm assessed at right now?
So the question is, where would you see your assessment now? So, there is, this is open public record. The tax assessor does have all of the, yeah, so you would request your
tax bills.
Oh, it's on the tax bill?
Mhm.
Yes.
And isn't that card also come?
Yeah.
With
And
the,
card,
a
yeah.
card
In
usually.
February, well,
That
soon,
card.
probably this week or next week, you'll get the assessment card.
Those
But when we
little
send the
cards.
valuation letter out, we will have the old valuation, and then we'll have the old tax, and then we'll give you the new valuation and the new estimated tax along with that, so you can see the difference between the two. Now, I do want to note, when you receive that valuation letter, it is alarming because a lot of people, it'll say on there, it'll say 2026 assessment, and then it'll say 2027 assessment. We're not saying that over a year that assessment had changed that much. We're saying since 1984 that value has changed that much. I think that does tend to confuse people, but when you see it, the numbers are going to probably most likely be very drastically different because you're talking a 42-year difference between those
But
values.
the rate's going to drop off. It's not going to be the same tax rate.
Just hypothetically, are we required to have them enter our homes?
I mean, it's your right. Obviously, it's your property. I will say, for our purposes and trying to give you a accurate value, the more information that we have to take your property and compare it to those sales within this time period, the better. We don't want to have to estimate, especially over 42 years, things change. We want to make sure that what we have on your record, we can take and we can compare to those properties correctly.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. You're more or less telling me that right now my house is assessed at 17% of what it truly is worth.
Yes, so the question
So
is,
you're going to move my house's value from 17% up to 100% and then tax me on that variance.
yes, but see, what happens is...
If I could just,
Sure.
if you could just try to summarize that, what you said.
Yeah, so basically the question is, the old assessments are at 17%. When they go up to 100%, how will the taxes be affected from that? So what's going to happen is the values will all be added from all of the assessments. Basically, we're going to get one total number from every single property in town, and it's going to give us a new overall value that we will be looking at. We take that and we divide it by the budget, the current budget in town, to give us a new tax rate. So as much as the values are going up, that tax rate has to come down equally. So that's why you're going to see a redistribution of taxes throughout the town. You're going to see a portion that will guaranteed to go down. You will see a portion that's guaranteed to stay the same. There will be a portion that goes up. But again, that tax rate is adjusted based off of how much that value is increased from gathering all of the market information that we find from the sales.
Yes, the rate's not going to stay at 12.3?
Yes, which is,
0.35. It's not gonna stay that.
So you say the entire township, not neighborhood by neighborhood?
every single property is totaled into that value. So, whatever the market is calling for, that value to be on each individual property, it's all added up to a total value. It's usually a very large number, obviously, and then we divide that out by the budget, and then it gives us that new tax rate. Now, the tax rate will be estimated because, we're unaware of what will be voted on for that upcoming budget, so we base it off of the previous year's budget, but typically we're fairly close to, what we believe the impact will be, so.
Ms. Rao, any other questions from the route?
From the router duo?
I have a question, not as the deputy mayor, but as a
Sure.
homeowner.
Yes.
What is an ancillary building? What constitutes, you mentioned that they'd be measuring, is that a shed or is it bigger than a shed?
Every township's a little bit different, and, I'll speak with the assessor on that of, what the particulars are on it.
So all sheds are going to be assessed.
Pools, in-ground pools.
In-ground
yeah.
pools, semi-in-ground pools,
Mhm.
decks, patios.
I was just going to ask that. So decks and patios are assessed and included,
Yes.
or, okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you had mentioned before things that are not. So what's not? Yeah.
Fences was on.
Yes, yes.
Landscaping is on.
Landscaping, fences is not.
Driveways,
Driveways,
yeah.
fences, landscaping is not.
things
Okay.
like that.
Prior to walking on the property, will we be notified as to what date, as if we have dogs that live outside and electric fences, so no one gets bitten?
So question is, will the homeowner be notified
Chester's
before
not
we
gonna bite.
arrive at the property? We typically send that first letter out to let you know that we will be out. Now, did you receive your letter? At that time, we do ask that if you have any specific, questions or any specific things that you want done to your property, to call us. So if you want us to wait until we hear from you, or if you don't want us to come and leave a card, if you want to set an appointment, you can do that as well. If you have certain specifics that, on your property, like dogs or things along those lines. So I would suggest maybe calling the number and saying, listen, I have dogs. I don't want them in the backyard, can we set up a time, or let me know, and you can leave your number and we can call when we're in the area. We do that as well, so.
And I believe there'll be coordination with the police department.
Yes, everybody is,
So the police will know exactly where the inspectors are.
yes, all the
As well.
cars are documented, license plates, so they're well aware of when we're around, so. And like I said, at the time too, if you want to see their ID, you can ask for the ID, and again, you can verify with the website as well. You will see the same ID on the website, so.
Does the letter of evaluation have a list of all of the things in ground pool, solar panels, generator, all that stuff? Is that listed in that letter?
Yeah, so the question is, what is listed on the letter? On the valuation letter, it'll be very, general. Like I was saying before, you'll basically have just your old valuation, your old tax, your new valuation, new tax. If you want further information about what we call the property, is what you're asking about, is called the property record card. That's all of your data and what your property, entails. That you can call us on, we can go over that with you. It is a working file at that time, so typically until we send it back to the assessor, we usually don't send out the record cards just in case things change, or, if there's things that, if we go out and do inspections, or things are constantly changing while we're working on the file. Once we send it to the assessor, then it becomes, public information, and you can look up your property record card at that point, so.
Solar panels will not be assessed.
Yeah, they're not, yeah.
Just to let you know.
A resident asked me, what happens if they can't get into my house? What happens if I refuse and I don't want to cooperate?
Yeah, so I mean, we will just have to estimate based off of what we're seeing within, the location. We're gonna have to try to determine based off of the size of the property, maybe, how many bathrooms you have, how many bedrooms you have. Things like attic spaces and basements, typically we will estimate them to be finished if we do not get in. Now, we can take them off if we do get in, but those are the type of things that might affect your square footage. Basements will not be considered square footage or livable space if we have them finished, but spaces like the attic will be considered livable if, we don't see that it's unfinished.
Because it's above grade.
It's above
That's why.
grade. Mhm.
That's the key there.
But to answer your question, it's basically going to have to be estimated, and then we're going to take that estimation, and that's what we're going to compare to the sales. So how accurate that may be, we won't know unless we see the property, so.
I think, was it Dr. Rauer?
Sure.
No? Please.
For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Adam Colicchio from Renaud Colicchio. I handle the property tax appeal defense for Scotch Plains on behalf of the municipality. One thing I just wanted to add is that anytime someone's dissatisfied with an assessment, so for example, if the new assessments were set for 2027 and you were not able to come to any kind of understanding that was satisfactory to you, the next level would be appealing the terms of the assessment to the Union County Board of Taxation or to the tax court. If you have not allowed an inspection, typically the county board or the tax court would say that you're basically disqualified from being able to pursue an appeal of your property tax assessment. So in addition to just letting the appraisers get a really complete picture of the house, create a fair assessment, after which time you can still have an informal discussion with them if need be, in addition to that, it is in your best interest because if it came to it and you wanted to escalate to filing a property tax appeal, the first thing I would do, unfortunately, from my office would be to ask the board or the tax court to say, they either have to let us in now after this late date or you have to dismiss the appeal. So it's in your best interest to just get it over with and let them do their job.
That's helpful. Thank you. And the other question, I just to make sure everyone's hearing the right information, you'll be issuing a decision that will reflect 26 and 27, but any modification of the tax bill is prospective. It's 27. There won't be an assessment, in other words, on 26. Correct?
26 will still have the old quote unquote.
The higher tax rate, the lower
Yes,
assessed value.
yes.
And then in January, an estimate, and then when we pass our budget, bills will issue reflecting.
Typically, the third quarter is where you'll see of
Got it.
27.
The higher assessed value.
27, when the book is certified, that will have the new assessments.
Third quarter of '27.
Yeah, so usually you'll see it July, August of 27 is where the change will be.
Because the bills are printed just
Right.
once a year.
I've also been asked a few times, there must be a cap on how low my taxes may decrease or how high my taxes may increase. And I've explained, there is no such cap.
No, it's really based off of your individual assessment. So again, the market will dictate where your valuation will fall. Basically, how it's determined is we come up with an overall average adjustment throughout the town. You know, in this case, what would that be? 83% or whatever the case may be, if that follows suit. Wherever you fall within that average dictates the tax adjustment. So if you're lower than that average adjusted value, you'll see a decrease in taxes. If you're around that average adjusted value, you're probably going to stay about the same. If your value adjustment is over the overall average of the township, typically you'll see an increase. Now, where you fall within that average, if you're much lower than that average, you're probably going to see a substantial decrease. If you're much higher than that average, you're probably going to see a substantial increase. So it's really based off of where that average falls and where you fall within that average to determine what your tax impact will be.
Thank you.
Is the assessment strictly based on the exterior and interior of your house? Or do any other, how many people live there, how old people have lived there, the income of the people have lived there? Does that have any?
No, we're just basing it off of the property. I mean, we're not, you know, we're basically all we're trying to do is an appraisal of the property. If you were to sell tomorrow, what would your property sell for? And how we come up with that is we try to find the best comparisons we can to your property that have sold, and that gives us the indicator of that value.
Is this published where we could see where we fall?
In terms of your assessment, or?
Like what you're saying with the averages and stuff, that, you know, you might have been here and now you're here. and just
Yeah, I
curious
mean-
If the whole report, the final report is going to be published somewhere. that we can
Yeah, I mean,
see.
once we're completed with our, you know, files and our information, we will hand it back over to the assessor, and then everything will be public. You know, whatever information you would like, at that time, you can, you know, submit for that, and you can find that information.
That's when the book is certified to the county tax board. In January of that 27, in this case.
I think I heard you say that the inspectors will start in a couple of weeks.
I would say as soon as possible.
So-
The weather is obviously
Once
throwing us a little bit here, but I would say possibly by the end of the week, maybe
Oh.
next week. We're trying to get started as soon as possible, so.
And will it be one neighborhood at a time?
Usually, we base it off of tax maps, so we'll take one tax map at a time. We usually start numerically, so tax map 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, I believe we will have somewhere around 10 inspectors out, so that's how we'll be, you know, distributing the tax maps.
I see. And so there's no additional notification directly to the homeowner? You're out on the street, wearing the right credentials, knocking on doors, introducing yourselves and asking for some cooperation. The whole process takes 5 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, the outside is a little bit longer. That's where the measurements are done. But the homeowner doesn't have to be there for that. They can, obviously, if they want to, you know, walk around with the data collector. The inside is very basic. Again, we're basically just checking room counts, bathroom counts, overall condition, and finished areas really well. So it's basically a tour of the home, and they'll be making notes as they go through, and then checking the data that's there, so.
And it's anticipated to take most of the year?
Oh, that's what was my
Oh, sorry.
question.
Yeah.
All
on a town
depending.
this size.
I mean, might be, there's a lot of factors to that, depending on how many, you know, employees we have out, weather, how many houses we get into in a day. Every town is very different. So, you know, to say how long it'll take, I'm not really sure. And another thing is too, we will have to do appointments where we'll go back to do the interiors for those that aren't home. So if we get a lot of interior inspection calls, then that'll take guys out of the field to go do the inspection. So there's a lot of varying circumstances to try to determine how long it will take. But I would say within a couple months. I wouldn't say much longer than that.
Oh,
So-
Sounds pretty quick. Yeah, I didn't realize, just maybe a couple of months. And thereafter, will there be any correspondence before the finding with the new tax value?
No, typically after your data collection is done and somebody comes through, unless we need any more specific information, we'll be just sending the letter out to you, and that'll be the time to call if you have any further questions. So.
And I think Mr. Ross has told me, is that next January? About a year from now?
Usually they're out November, December.
Oh, excuse me, okay.
Towards the end of the year.
Okay.
We'll have the informal review process where you can call and,
That's before the formal appeal.
Okay.
Yes.
We can meet with the...
We typically try to have it done by January because the signing of the books
I see.
is in January, the first week in January. So it should be done by then, especially now because we're starting at the beginning of this year.
So
So.
you'll have a couple of hearing dates.
Yeah, well, if hearing dates, we can do it over the phone as well. If the homeowner wants to submit any information that they have, they can email us, whatever is easiest for the homeowner at that time, we can,
Okay.
You've got another question
I'm sorry,
over here.
please.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Do you have any assessment of our properties? That, just an example, my neighborhood, we don't have fences. How do you know you're getting my property and you're not making it wider or whatever? Because
Yeah, we don't do any surveying. So the surveying is done through a state certified surveyor. All of that is done through tax map. We don't measure the land. We're strictly just measuring the house itself, and we're taking what's on the tax maps, and what is on the tax map measurements is what we're taking
you're not
from
talking
there.
about the square acreage or whatever.
No, we're taking that from the tax maps, and that's all done by engineers. That has to be approved by the state for the surveying.
How do you value a home without valuing the property? It's on
That's all part of it, the land, land and the building.
But you're using, if I understand them correctly, you're using the tax map as the
Yes.
land.
Because typically, you're not going to be able to change
Acreage.
your dimensions of your
dimensions
land.
of your property.
The certified meets and bounds of your property are already
They're matching that.
information.
Yes.
So you're matching that to the pictures and the discussions of the exterior and interior.
The tax maps were redone and certified by the state. So that's all.
And a question for our manager, have we updated the website yet with this information?
With this information, yes, it's been on the website. I think we have a page dedicated to it under Mr. Ross's office. And I believe also on the ticker, I call it, or the reel that goes across the top, there's information there. And now that we've had this presentation, for those who aren't here or might have missed it, and I'm going to see if the folks that do our recording can pull out just this segment from the meeting so that we can blast that out separately or post it separately.
That'd be great. I know after your letter issued, it generated a lot of attention, and
Sure.
I think the cold weather may have prevented many residents from coming out. But if questions arise and are sent to our manager, any of us, we're going to refer them over to you to
Sure.
address, and continue working with Mr. Ross. Great. Any other questions? Any closing?
No, I mean, just to finalize, if you do have any specific questions or anything you need, just give us a call. I mean, we're more than happy to help. We know that it's not done very often, so we try to get as much information as we can out there for you. So,
Thank you. Of course, it's 26 years plus 16 is a lot, right? It's 32? They're 42? How many? What's 26 plus 16? Someone tell me.
42 years.
So it's understandable that residents don't know what this
Yeah, I mean,
process is.
for sure.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
people that have lived here all their lives may not know.
Exactly.
I know it led to, I'm not letting them in, I don't know what this is, and I've had conversations like that to
Sure.
try to educate. So we'll continue doing that, and we all appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely.
All three of you, and explaining that, especially about the non-access, because that's something that's, a few people have told me, so that's a crucial point that you raised. We hope the weather cooperates and you get the process done quickly.
Sure, no problem. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any, right? Oh, no question? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our residents for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That will conclude presentations this evening, and we will move on to public comment. Thank you very much. Good to see you.
Thanks so much.
If there's anyone here that wishes to share any comments with the town council, this would be the time. You have up to 3 minutes to share any comments that you wish. And after we've concluded public comment here, we'll open the phone line. It's 908-322-2076. Have a good night. Hi, good evening.
Hi, I'm Martha Sides at 1255 Meadowlark Lane, and wanted to say this was amazing with the police. The whole police department was here. I was very impressed. It's a great police department, too. We were all disappointed that Governor Murphy signed only one of the 3 Immigrant Trust Act bills. We're hopeful that the state legislature will address some of the concerns and make changes and get all the protections we can for our undocumented neighbors. On Friday, in response to the veto of the 2 protective laws, Mayor James Solomon of Jersey City signed an executive order protecting Jersey City's immigrants in 3 areas: training for city employees for encounters with federal immigration authorities, community partnerships for Know Your Rights outreach, and the prohibition on use of city property for immigration enforcement. These are really scary times. Those with visas and green cards are being detained, along with the undocumented, and American citizens are being swept up in the frenzy. We all need to stand up to this, and I hope the Township of Scotch Plains will step up. And I have copies of the Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sides. No? Thank you, Mrs. Sides. Although a few residents, and I think some people from out of town, have followed up since you originally came and brought this to our attention, you were the first advocate, and I think I speak for all of my colleagues when I say you were ahead of your time, and you saw the writing on the wall, and your advocacy is well received and very important, and I think we all are grateful to you. Yeah. If I may, the deputy mayor and I started working on a resolution advocating for exactly what you're looking for, pointing out that the pocket veto, what the effect of that was, and why we understand the former governor didn't sign those bills, and asking the legislature to rework them the way the former governor's attorneys suggested. And I think we may have more to say towards the end of the meeting. Is there anyone else here that wishes to participate in public comment? Sure. If you please just start with your name and address.
Yeah, Sean Keegan Foley, 152 Lamberts Mill Road. I'm a former Garwood councilman and currently a new Scotch Plains resident. And I'm currently visiting municipalities across Union County as part of a regional effort to address algorithmic rent pricing by building support through municipal resolutions. I have shared this resolution to all municipalities via email, and right now, as of time, Scotch Plains is the 4th municipality or 4th meeting in Union County I've visited. At the core of the issue, this directly impacts the cost of living for working families, seniors, and young people trying to remain in the communities they call home. We often hear that the solution to housing affordability is simple. Build more housing. The logic is straightforward. But when supply increases, price should stabilize or come down. Basic supply and demand. However, these pricing algorithms fundamentally break that logic. Instead of allowing rents to respond naturally to increased supply or local conditions, these systems use shared data across multiple properties to recommend rent levels that prioritize maximizing revenue, not competition. In practice, this means rents can continue to rise or refuse to come down even when more housing units are built, vacancies increase, or demand soften. So we end up in a situation where communities do the hard work. They approve new housing. They absorb the impacts on infrastructure, schools, and services. They take on the political risks of growth, all with the expectation that increased supply will help families in the community. But the promised affordability never materializes because they are being propped up by coordinated pricing systems. This drives astronomical costs for community members. The Attorney General currently has already found alleged price rent fixing by these algorithms by multiple developers throughout Union County and throughout the state. The result is higher rents, less competition, and real harms to families who are just trying to stay in their homes. The resolution I sent out simply affirms the principle that housing markets should be fair, transparent, and genuinely competitive. New York, California, and Hudson County has done this, and so the state of New Jersey, even our county, can achieve the same. As technology advances at breakneck speed, we have a responsibility to ensure that our communities are protected from the unintended harms that can arise from rapid and often unregulated technological change. Allowing these systems to operate unchecked is like leaving cash out in the front counter of a bank instead of securing it in a vault. The incentives are too strong and the risk to the public is too great. And finally, as a former elected official, I do understand the time, effort, and care that goes into the work that all of you do, and I want to be clear that my advocacy will always come with the utmost respect and professionalism. I also recognize the start of a new year, budget planning and getting situated is top priority. Regardless, I felt it was important to show up personally, introduce myself, and raise awareness about this issue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Foley. I want to acknowledge, I think you sent 2 emails on this, and on the first one, I shared it with everyone to make sure we, but as you closed, that's the reality. We haven't yet had a chance to caucus and discuss. I know you followed up, and I appreciate you coming in to introduce yourself. Appreciate it.
Thank
Oh,
you.
God.
Thank you for your advocacy.
Thank you.
Yeah, once we've had that opportunity, I'll reach out. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there anyone else here that wishes to participate in public comment? If not, we'll close public comment here in chambers and open up the phone line, 908-322-2076. And there's a little delay, so we'll just give it a minute and see if the phone rings. This is where they should play Jeopardy music.
I just had that in my head. I was trying to think of it.
There are a couple of people said they may call in, but they may have changed their minds.
Questions were answered.
Ms. Park, may we close public comment at this time? Okay. Since the phone isn't ringing, we will close public comment and move on to the approval of council minutes. Deputy Mayor.
I move to approve the business meeting minutes of December 16th, 2025 and December 30th, 2025 and to accept the determination and award certificate number 26-1R.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Thank you. Moving on to our manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I want to first, I know they left, which is good because now I don't get all verklempt about the chief, so I'll talk to him. We did give him a little send-off in our directors' meeting this afternoon, so, and I'll be talking to him again in the next couple of days, but to them and the officers that were promoted and the new officers sworn in, I think we're on I think Chief Briel has left the township in a really good position as far as the future of the Scotch Plains Police Department, and I think we'll continue to move forward. So thank all of you for your continued support of the department, of decisions that the former manager and I have made with regard to the department, and I look forward to a good future with Chief Lavery, who will be swearing in on February 10th at our next council meeting, and we will have we officially have to swear him in on Monday when he takes over. Other than that, we had a really big storm, in case anybody missed it. And I want to, and I'm sure the mayor will speak to this later, the extraordinary job of our Public Works Department, our police, rescue, fire, Office of Emergency Management, the folks that run our website and social media messaging. We all came together, I feel, and did a really wonderful job, but the men of the DPW worked their tails off for, I think, almost 36 hours straight, right, Mayor? I think that's what we calculated. And I can't say enough wonderful things about them and the job they did. That said, and I've thanked them repeatedly, I know all of you have as well, publicly and so forth. That said, we can still help them more. We as the residents of Scotch Plains, the business owners of Scotch Plains, there are a couple of things that I'm going to ask again that everybody does, not just for their own, in their neighborhoods, because we've witnessed it, our guys have witnessed it firsthand, our police officers have witnessed it. When you're plowing your own driveways, sidewalks, whatever, please keep your snow on your property, the snow on your property. What happens is, I'll get a call, the mayor, council members will get a call that they didn't plow my street. And what happens a lot of the time is that the street gets plowed, and then after they plow, people do their snow blowing and so forth right back into the street. This totally negates anything that Public Works did to plow and to prep the streets, or to get the streets cleared. So the more that you can do to just take the extra step to make sure the snow in your driveways, walkways are going onto your property, that would be really helpful. Digging out fire hydrants. I see the deputy chief and chief in the back, and I know this is super important. If you can get to your fire hydrants so that they're clear, God forbid the fire's at your home, you're going to want them to be able to get to that hydrant. So that would be extremely helpful. And when you live around the schools, again, be mindful of the sidewalks there. Not just the schools, but, and the mayor asked me about this morning, just to confirm, we have a township ordinance, 15-2.4, snow and ice. The owner of or tenant of lands abutting or bordering upon the sidewalks of public streets of the township shall remove all ice and snow from the part of the sidewalk lying in front of their respective premises. So, and that's got to be done within 12 hours of daylight. So you are responsible as residents for the sidewalks and the clearing of the sidewalks in front of your homes. We did have several situations with this storm where we had businesses that hadn't cleared. That was quite dangerous, and sidewalks near our schools. So please adhere to that ordinance. You will get a summons from our property maintenance department if those sidewalks are not cleared. And I already talked about the presentation tonight will be posted about the tax revaluation will be posted on social media. And I think that is it. We hopefully do not have another storm coming, but I hear there might be. Oh, and also, I saw some comments. I'm not really always on Facebook. And I saw some comments about the tax reevaluation and how people were not believing that the letters that were sent out were real. This is why we posted the letters on our township website. I believe we had examples, or at least a link to those letters, in our weekly messenger. And once again, I implore you to sign up for the township messenger and first alerts so that you will be in the know about when things like that come out, and you will not have to question the validity of them. And if you are questioning the validity of them, please call my office or the police department, because if you're talking about it on Facebook, we're not always going to see it, and we're certainly not going to reply on Facebook. That is not our township practice. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
No, but I think that one of the things he said tonight in the presentation is important, that if you, as a resident, do have concerns about letting someone in your home and the validity of them, then you can call the township or the police department, but there is also the number he gave tonight that we will post on the website, and you can call them to make that appointment. So then you know it's happening on when you're comfortable having someone come in your home, and it is valid because you're making the initiative in the phone call. So I think that was a great tip he gave tonight.
Well said, yes. And that, the other thing too is we're not the professionals. We don't do tax reevaluation. That's why we hire professionals to do it, as all the other municipalities in the county and I guess everywhere do. And for that reason too, when you call us, we cannot answer questions about your property or about the process other than what we're all reading together. And that's why we provide the number for the company. So thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you. And I know I've said this a few times with regard to DPW and all of our emergency responders. Sunday was a long, long storm, and as streets were finished, what I noticed was an hour and a half later, streets looked like they weren't plowed again, and DPW was aware and went back again and again to various streets. The complaint I heard the most was of driveways being plowed in. I grew up in Brooklyn, side streets, and I remember the same thing. Yeah, I remember getting washed over with snow when the big garbage trucks passed over with their plows. On most streets that are straight, there's nowhere for that snow to go but to the side. And the truth is, residents that can get a head start when the snow is light have that head start. But when those plows come, there may be some additional shoveling to do. But I saw firsthand, though, on our cul-de-sacs where the DPW personnel trying very hard to keep driveways clear and even scrape the snow that was in driveways back out and put it in front of residents' lawns. And as I wrote on Facebook on Sunday night, there are 10 zones in town, and they take 4 hours to complete on average. On Sunday, they were taking 6.5, even 8 hours. The men were on the radio that they were running out of gas in their trucks that were full when they left 6 and 8 hours before that. And as a governing body, we've been discussing with our manager ways to support the DPW with more personnel and more machinery, which is very expensive, and we recognize that we can't make these fixes all at once, but over time, we intend to support the DPW and our growing town with more attention on DPW's needs. It was Joe Pollakay, the Deputy Director at DPW for Union County, whom I reached out to for a little help with our schools, and he was the one that told me that there may be a storm on Sunday, so everybody blow when you get out of here south, and let's hope that air doesn't come our way. And related to the weather, it's so cold. So what I wrote on Sunday was, if you have young, most of us are aware how to drive and drive carefully in these conditions. I have a 16-year-old that's learning. At night when there's black ice, it's extremely difficult. Please remind your young drivers how challenging it may be when the weather drops into the single digits. And finally, what Ms. Heisey shared about shoveling your property if you have a sidewalk, that was another common complaint today, especially near our schools. The schools and their team worked Sunday and Monday and today preparing the schools to be open. The superintendent, it was very important to the superintendent to open on time today, and we did everything that we could to support that effort. I'm glad that they did. I know that there were some homes adjacent to schools that hadn't shoveled, forcing families and little children to use the street. And our property inspector went there today, and summonses did issue wherever appropriate. The same with some businesses in town. We are enforcing our ordinances, but we're really expecting our community just to be what it is, filled with good people, good neighbors doing the right thing.
And there's one other thing I left out too, Mayor. I talked about fire hydrants and keeping the snow off the roads. Cars. I know I live in a house with 4 adult drivers and a very short driveway, and we pulled one of our children's cars onto the side, onto the lawn. The lawn is super hard right now. It would really help efforts if people could get the cars off the streets. I know it's difficult, but it makes everybody's job so much easier, and you get a clearer road. So if people could practice that as well, it's certainly welcome.
Right. And in that effort, similar to the flooding, if there's a need to park that car elsewhere and you think you need some township help, reach out to us, reach out to our manager. We will try and accommodate.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Heisey.
Thank you.
Moving on to the reports of special committees. Councilwoman Sandler.
I do not have one. Green team met tonight, and I was here, so.
Excellent. Councilman White?
Something short from the fire department. It's on safety. It's getting cold, as the mayor said. For those that's running space heaters, please do not run them unoccupied. Make sure you're in attendance with it, so it doesn't cause a problem. Thank you.
Thank you. That's one of the last things I do is when I leave my family room is unplug that thing. You grow up hearing terrible stories about those space heaters. Councilwoman Zimmerman?
Thank you, Mayor. I am going to completely switch gears from safety and talk about programs. Because we've got some great senior programs to talk about to help fill some of these cold days. Although, in preparing for the warm days, our spring fitness senior classes are open for registration. There is, backed by popular demand, yoga and line dancing. So that is available on our website or by contacting the Recreation Department. And then we have a couple of new classes. There is a new senior Memory Lane Cabaret in partnership with the Theatrical Arts Prep. Registration is open. It is at the Townhouse at Green Forest Park on Wednesdays from 10:30 to 11:30. And you can join in with a sing-along to some uplifting cabaret-style songs, some Broadway standards. And join friends and come together, and sounds like a really good time.
It's right up my alley.
It is, actually. It's like me getting in your car.
I don't want to embarrass myself, but I'm going to. I was told by someone if they took my phone and got access to my music playlist, they would think I'm a 95-year-old woman. I love show tunes.
Was it one of your children?
No, somebody else.
And then our senior cafe at Shady Rest, which is part of the Union County Lunch Program, has begun some incredible programs for our seniors, and there's a second IT technology class on February 24th. So if it's called the State of AI. So all really good information to share with the community, and all of this can be found on our website or again by contacting the Recreation Department. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Tomorrow night, the Environmental Commission will meet virtually by Microsoft Teams at 7:30. The Teams link for that meeting will be posted on the website, and the public is encouraged to attend. There's not much more that can be said about the police department after the beautiful both promotions and remarks that were made about Chief Briel, but just from my perspective as a council liaison, Chief Briel really did understand what effective policing is all about. It's more than just enforcement, it's judgment, restraint, transparency, commitment to constitutional principles, and he led the department in a stellar fashion during a time when it's challenging. Policing nationwide is challenging, and he did so with a level of steadiness and clarity, and focus, and I think moral clarity is the best way to put it. That provided an immense amount of public safety and accountability by the very well-trained and equipped men and women that he led. So on behalf, from a personal perspective, I just want to thank him. And then on the recreation front, or I should say, on the police department front, we'll have plenty of time to talk about the incoming leadership and some of the promotions that were made tonight, but I have the utmost confidence in the manager's decision to promote Captain Lavery to Chief Lavery with the advice and consent of this governing body, and I think we are in store for the continuation of what has been a fabulous tenure by Chief Briel. On the recreation front, we have a lot of spring programming that's about to open up, including youth softball, yoga, line dancing, Built by Me STEM classes for grades 1 through 5, programs with theatrical artists prep to work on improv and sing-along, street hockey with the New Jersey Devils. I mean, the programming list that our recreation department is putting together is just out of this world fantastic. The 2026 day camp registration for grades K through 5 has also opened up, and camp will run from June 29th to Friday, August 7th. On the project front, it's tough to do construction work in the weather that we have, especially outdoors, but nonetheless, our teams and their contractors have concluded the bathroom renovations at Greenside Park, Greenside Playground and Southside Park, which were long overdue and very much welcome to those that use those facilities frequently. And finally, on the park projects front, the golf course netting has now been near completion at the historic Shady Rest Country Club in both the areas that adjoin the Public Works building and the actual historic clubhouse itself. If anyone's ever been to the Shady Rest Clubhouse, you know that the netting up there was awful. Poles were bent, the netting was ripped, and it didn't really do anything for an errant golf ball that was flying towards the building. But now, alas, we with the help of a state grant, we have beautiful netting that I think looks like Topgolf in the way that it's structured. So it should be nice and robust. So, Mayor, that's all I got.
That's great. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and it should stay there stay up and work, preserve that building for years to come. Just two minor updates. The chairman of the Historical Preservation and Documentation Committee, Tom Donatelli, advised me that in the coming weeks he'll be scheduling the first meeting of the year. That will be in our e-messenger and calendar if you're interested in participating. And our planning board, as I keep saying, is continuing to hear from residents that want to speak to our master plan. And the planning board will also be holding a public hearing on affordable housing ordinances that we'll be introducing in a few minutes. That meeting will be on February 9th. That's all I have tonight, too, for committee reports. Moving on to the new business consent agenda. Deputy Mayor.
I make a motion to adopt the consent agenda, including the bill list in the amount of $10,289,385.31, as well as resolutions 2026 through and including 2026-46 through and including 2026-56.
May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Lucina.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Stamler?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mayor Lusardo?
Yes, and I know everyone loves the sound of Ms. Lucina's voice, so you're going to hear a lot of it over the next few minutes. Moving on to other new business, Ms. Lucina, ordinance 2026, number 1.
An ordinance amending Chapter 23 entitled Zoning, replacing subsection 10.3 entitled Downtown Affordable Housing Overlay Zone Tier 1 in its entirety, with an updated subsection 10.3 entitled Downtown Affordable Housing Overlay Zone Tier 1, in accordance with the adopted fourth round housing plan element and fair share plan of the Township of Scotch Plains.
I move that this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration, and the public hearing be set down for March the 10th, 2026, at 7 p.m. at 430 Park Avenue, Scotch Plains.
Second?
Ms. Lucina.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Stamler?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mayor Lusardo?
Yes, thank you. The next is ordinance 2026, number 2. Ms. Lucina.
An ordinance amending Chapter 23 entitled Zoning, replacing subsection 10.4 entitled Downtown Affordable Housing Overlay Zone Tier 2 in its entirety, with an updated subsection 10.4 entitled Downtown Affordable Housing Overlay Zone Tier 2, in accordance with the adopted fourth round housing plan element and fair share plan of the Township of Scotch Plains.
I move that this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration, and a public hearing be set down for March 10th, 2026 at 7 p.m. at 430 Park Avenue, Scotch Plains.
May I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Lucina.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Stamler?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mayor Lusardo?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Lucina. The next is ordinance 2026, number 3.
An ordinance amending Chapter 23 entitled Zoning, replacing subsection 10.5 entitled Downtown Affordable Housing Overlay Zone Tier 3 in its entirety, with an updated subsection 10.5 entitled Downtown Affordable Housing Overlay Zone Tier 3, in accordance with the adopted fourth round housing plan element and fair share plan of the Township of Scotch Plains.
I move that this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration, and that a public hearing be set down for March the 10th, 2026, at 7 p.m. at 430 Park Avenue, Scotch Plains.
Second.
Ms. Lucina.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Stamler?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mayor Losardo?
Yes, thank you. The next is ordinance 2026, number 4. Ms. Lucina.
An ordinance amending Chapter 23 zone entitled Zoning of the Township of Scotch Plains Ordinance to create an inclusionary overlay zone for certain properties in the Township of Scotch Plains, Morris Avenue Affordable Housing Overlay, in accordance with the adopted fourth round housing plan element and fair share plan of the Township of Scotch Plains.
I move that this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration, and that a public hearing be set down for March 10th, 2026, at 7 p.m. at 430 Park Avenue, Scotch Plains.
Second.
Ms. Lucina.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Stamler?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mayor Losardo?
Yes. And finally, 2026-5. Ms. Lucina.
An ordinance amending Chapter 23 entitled Zoning to create an inclusionary overlay zone district for certain properties in the Township of Scotch Plains, B2 South Avenue Affordable Housing Overlay, in accordance with the adopted fourth round housing plan element and fair share plan of the Township of Scotch Plains.
I move this ordinance be passed on first reading, published according to law for further consideration, and that a public hearing be set down for March 10th, 2026, at 7 p.m. at 430 Park Avenue, Scotch Plains.
Second.
Ms. Lucina.
Mr. Adams?
Yes.
Ms. Stamler?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Ms. Zimmerman?
Yes.
Mayor Losardo?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Lucina. And just for clarity, these are the ordinances that we just introduced. They're related to our fourth round affordable housing element and fair share plan. The planning board will be having a public hearing on February 9th related to these ordinances, and then the council will be having public hearings on them as well, at which time we're going to ask our director of community,
Planning and Community Development.
Tom Stroh was recently promoted with this new title. I have to memorize it better. Mr. Stroh is going to explain what these all are in greater detail at that public hearing on March 10th. Finally, tonight, council comment. Councilwoman Stamler.
Yes, there's a new gal in town. I wanted to wish congratulations to Chief Lestarchik and family. He's now a grandfather. Miss Ellie was born last week. Can't wait to meet her. And also, a few months ago, we had several people come to our meeting for public comment and imploring us to put up signage that there should be a 4-foot minimum from the end of the street to the inside the street, 4 feet, so people can pass. And we have started putting those up around town, so be on the lookout for those. Please comply with the law, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman White? No?
Just congratulations to the police officer that was promoted today and the newly officer that just signed on. Wish them best of luck.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zimmerman?
Yes, all that was said, and I just wanted to thank Mrs. Sides for bringing in and discussing and bringing to the attention of us about the immigration. I know that I'm going to let Deputy Mayor Adams speak because I know that he's got some words on this. We've all been watching what's unfolding in Minnesota, and it is just bringing out forth a lot of emotion surrounding this topic. So thank you for that, and I'll.
Yeah, but before
you
I
go for
get
that.
into something that's fairly serious, I just do want to reiterate what the manager said. A shout out to the DPW and all of our first responders who did an awesome job during the storm. Those guys were working their butts off. In fact, out in front of my house, I could see that their windshield wipers were like icing up. They had to like pump the heat in there. I see guys in t-shirts getting out in the weather because it's so hot inside the truck. It's not easy work, and it's time away from their families, so thanks so much. And Mrs. Sides, I know, thank you for showing up and continuing the dialogue around recent events. I know that residents of Scotch Plains have been closely following reports of immigration and customs enforcement activity and related incidents in Minneapolis and across the nation. We as a governing body, a local governing body of a community, would be remiss if we simply ignored it, although that might be the politically expedient thing to do. That's not what I intend to do tonight. While these events occurred far from our township, like many of you, I have family, friends, business interests in the Twin Cities region. Moreover, our region has not been immune from this activity, although thankfully not at the levels that have been seen elsewhere. Regardless, these events raise serious national questions about public safety, transparency, and the proper balance between law enforcement authority and constitutional rights. As Americans, a self-governed people, this is a deeply important time for all of us to engage in a reflexive dialogue and not to simply engage in polarizing political sound bites. Our community here at home has long enjoyed and valued a supreme level of professionalism in law enforcement. The respect for due process that our law enforcement officials here at the local level show, and the principle that government power must be exercised responsibly and with accountability and transparency. In fact, we're here tonight, once again, celebrating the fantastic men and women of our police department on the occasion of the chief's retirement and various officers being elevated in their professional careers, and that is indeed cause for celebration. I am the proud son of a police chief. I know Councilman White's son is a police officer in this township. And I stand in support of the brave men and women of law enforcement everywhere, unambiguously. But I am also shocked and appalled by the images that I am seeing as a part of these recent immigration roundups. I work in the federal criminal justice system every day, and this is not how it's supposed to work. Plainly, what you are seeing on TV is wrong. The actions of federal officials, like we are seeing in Minneapolis, make our local police here at home less safe. They make all of us less safe. They erode the confidence that our brave men and women of law enforcement here in Scotch Plains have appropriately earned from our community. I recognize that immigration enforcement is a federal responsibility and a complex responsibility at that. But at the same time, the manner in which immigration enforcement actions are carried out have real consequences for public trust, community stability, communities like ours, and respect for the rule of law nationwide, including hundreds of miles away from Minneapolis here in Scotch Plains. Events like those reported in Minneapolis understandably cause concern, including among families here in New Jersey who expect government institutions to act with restraint, clarity, and a respect for civil liberties. Tonight, I add my voice, and I hope my colleagues add theirs, to those of elected officials from throughout the United States that have called upon authorities to fully and completely investigate what we have seen in recent weeks, and to hold all of those found to have violated the law or the public trust accountable. Any use of force by authorities, particularly when it results in the loss of life, warrants a careful, independent review and full transparency so that the public can have confidence that the law is being faithfully, fairly, and lawfully applied. We as a nation and as a community are better than what we are seeing on the news every night. Federal immigration authorities have a really tough job. But this has to stop. The conflict in our nation right now from within, I would dare say, is a virus far more dangerous than any pandemic or disease. It has wide-ranging, destabilizing impacts that jeopardize the heart of what we stand for in this country, and that is one nation under God with liberty and justice for all. The immigrant trust legislation, Mrs. Sides, that you alluded to earlier, as having been pocket vetoed at the conclusion of the last gubernatorial administration, is something that this governing body is continuing to examine, and we encourage, and I hope to shortly present a resolution to this governing body that I've been working on, as the mayor alluded to, with the mayor, to fashion in a way that tells our lawmakers in Trenton that it is high time for New Jersey to take a lead in this particular area. And with that, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, for those important words, and I concur completely. It's hard to watch what's going on and not be alarmed and concerned, and I hope that the administration in Washington changes course, and that there's just respect for human life, and I find myself saying I stand with the people of Minneapolis. I find myself wanting to protest there, and the deputy mayor and I didn't have a chance to connect before tonight's meeting, except briefly. I told him I wanted to say something, and he told me I got it. So I appreciate you putting that together, and us standing as a governing body, standing for decency and on the right side of history. I'm positive. Thank you, Matt. My council comments are this. As the residents of Scotch Plains know very well, all too well, in September there was a tragic accident that led to my colleagues and I learning about e-bikes and the state of the state law on e-bikes at the time. And back in September, I reached out to our Assemblywoman Linda Carter to discuss it and discuss the need for state reform. And Assemblywoman Carter told me, to my great surprise, that it won't be easy, that there's a lot of push back on common sense reform. And a few days later, the Senate President and I connected, and the Senate President, Nick Scutari, said he was going to give it his all to reform the law on the state level in a way to make the roads of New Jersey safer. And I want to thank the Senate President for leading the charge, and Jim Kennedy and Linda Carter, our Assembly representatives, for introducing the legislation there in the Assembly, and for the Assembly and Senate passing reform a few weeks back, and Governor Murphy signing that reform on his, I think just a day or two before his term expired. Our attorney is reviewing the changes to the law because several months back, Fanwood and Scotch Plains agreed to take a look at e-bike legislation and decide as a community, because our streets are, the residents of both towns share our parks and our roads and so forth. We made a commitment to work together, and I wanted to point out that our attorney and Fanwood's attorney are now reviewing what the state changed in order to potentially introduce ordinances in both the borough of Fanwood and the township of Scotch Plains in the coming weeks. But for now, I find it just kind of special that I was able to be on the phone with Linda Carter and have a face-to-face with the Senate President that led to real reform. We now have the strictest e-bike legislation in the United States, and I do think that the changes that the state adopted will lead to safer conditions for all of us. That's my final comment tonight. Deputy Mayor?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Good night, everybody.